I just finished watching the night 2 of WrestleMania, and what a main event we got. We had The Rock and John Cena face off. The Undertaker came out there. Jimmy, Jay, every single Bloodline member came out there. One by one, they got taken out by someone incredible. In the match itself, Roman Reigns hitting Cody with a crossroads. Cody hitting Roman Reigns with a spear. And well, Cody finally finishing the story. I mean, it is going to be an interesting era when we're talking about the Paul Triple H Levesque era. It's gonna start off with me losing the beer because I did make a bet that unfortunately if Roman Reigns lost, well, I was gonna have to shave this off, so a video for that will be coming out soon. I made a promise, I will have to go through with it. But not today. I gotta talk about this first right now. I gotta come down from all of this hype because this night 2 is finally giving us what we wanted from WrestleMania. A WrestleMania-worthy moment. Something at the level of the biggest show of the entire year in professional wrestling. This was it. And by the end of the night with the main event, it wasn't only one of the best matches that I've seen at WrestleMania, the craziest, but one of the biggest that I saw. Again, era-defining, career-defining for Cody Rhodes and Hall of Fame inducting, basically, for Roman Reigns. We got a crap ton to talk about. I'll talk about the main event at the very end again, but let's start from the top of the card with the very first match being Drew McIntyre and Seth freaking Rollins with CM Punk on commentary. It was a very fast-paced match. In fact, it reminded me of Brock Lesnar, who was mentioned on commentary today, and Goldberg. Like, we got finishers after finishers. The match started with a finisher, as a matter of fact. You know, the only difference was the number of the finishers. You know, with Lesnar and Goldberg, we would have like 5, 10 finishers. Here, we only had 3, 4. And the match itself was nice. I love the entrance of Seth Rollins because CM Punk completely crapped on him, saying he's a goof. I loved CM Punk on commentary, and I think it should be there 24/7 because he's not fake. He's actually not fake, and I love that. I actually love that. Like, whatever he thinks, he says it. He's not doing this all bravado and BS like Michael Cole does, like Corey does, like Pat McAfee does. Like, they are completely fake, and I get it, that's their position, but holy crap, like, having someone genuine who says what they want to say on commentary makes 20 times the difference, man. It's the same thing as seeing a superstar come out there with a scripted promo that feels like ChatGPT wrote it versus The Rock coming out there and absolutely killing it. Same feeling with CM Punk on commentary. No disrespect to Michael Cole. I like him. Corey Graves, he's pretty intelligent. He's pretty decent as well. But CM Punk, just the way he's able to do things, the privileges he has because of the positions that he's in. I hope if he eventually goes into the commentary table after he's done with his in-ring career, he'll be able to keep them. He'll be able to say whatever the hell he wants, you know, as long as he doesn't, you know, go absolutely insane. Because as a viewer, I would have been completely disengaged from the entrance of Seth Rollins and like, what the hell is this BS, basically? Because come on, dude, he looks like a joke. He looks like a joke. Not the Joker, which is cool. A joke. He's missing the R part. And I was hopeful for this entrance because, like, he was at least looking at the title right before the match started and he was super serious. Why couldn't you keep that energy, Seth freaking Rollins, man? Come on, man. We're gonna talk about Seth Rollins in the main event too. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna say justice for Seth Rollins because, oh my god, Cody did him so dirty. But this World Heavyweight Championship match, really, the most amazing thing about it was the ending where Drew McIntyre finally beat Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins was actually beat up. His eyes was, you know, swelled up. And then, you know, Drew McIntyre is celebrating with a crowd that was pretty bad at the beginning of the show. They picked up. Oh, they picked up for sure. But in the beginning, I was thinking, oh my god, we're gonna have the repeat of yesterday with the coldest crowd ever in wrestling history. In fact, one of my friends I watched with, he made the joke like, oh, Drew McIntyre won the title at an empty arena during the pandemic era. And now he's winning it in Philadelphia, which is almost the exact same thing, which I thought was, you know, pretty funny. But again, they redeemed themselves at the end. And this match, while it was over as we thought, Drew McIntyre celebrated right in front of CM Punk to rub it in his face that he's finally the World Heavyweight Champion. And he accomplished the dream of CM Punk instead of CM Punk himself. While CM Punk actually retaliated after some time, took out his, you know, brass or whatever, hit Drew McIntyre with it. That's when Damian Priest came in to an insane reaction. And then he won. He just won. Yeah, he hit it. That was amazing. Like, let me tell you about the South of Heaven chokeslam. Drew McIntyre jumped so much for that. he jumped so much for that, because don't get me wrong, Damian Priest is a strong guy, but without Drew McIntyre helping him, you won't see that height. So that just shows you, before, forget all the character work and all that BS. Drew McIntyre is a selfless man. Bam, got his own moment, made a moment for Damian Priest, and gotta give kudos to the WWE here. I was just not convinced of seeing Damian Priest as a World Heavyweight Champion. I was even if he went for the United States Championship with the Money in the Bank, I would be kind of iffy about it. But somehow they pulled it off. Somehow Damian Priest has won the World Heavyweight Championship, at least for now, and he is looking legit. He felt legit. It felt okay. Like, it didn't feel like The Miz winning the WWE Championship, or, Damien Sandow challenging for it, which I love Damien Sandow, especially back in the day when he had the Money in the Bank. But this did feel like a, Damien here felt like a World Heavyweight Championship level superstar. And kudos to the WWE for doing that. This was booked as best as it could have been. And it was a great beginning for the entire show. Congratulations more so than kudos to Damian Priest. I am really excited to see what's going to happen now with the Judgment Day. I thought they were going to break up. That was one of my biggest predictions for this WrestleMania. I thought they were going to break up, but now I think I was completely wrong. I think they're going to be even crazier, at least for a little more longer. I think Finn Balor might go for a, let's say, United States Intercontinental Championship, and JD and Dominic might win the Tag Team Championships. I think we are going to see Judgment Day go on for a bit longer, because Andrade is out of the picture, Legado del Fantasma is out of the picture. It seems like Dominic is back solely with the Judgment Day, so I think they're gonna eat good. And then we had Snoop Dogg come out, because this was the Pride versus, what's the other team? God, if I can remember. Oh yeah, the Final Testament. This was worse than a pre-show match. This was worse than a house show match. This was pointless. This was basically a match to go to the toilet. It was it. This is literally what it was, man. I'm sorry. Karrion Kross didn't do it for me in the NXT, which at that point he was booked as best he could have been booked. And even then, he just didn't have the charisma or anything exciting going on. Scarlett seems like drunk or high all of the time with their movements. And we had Bubba Ray Dudley come out here, and that's when I knew. When we had Snoop Dogg and Bubba Ray Dudley come out to this match, I knew that they gave zero crap about this thing, because none of these were announced, and they obviously, you know what I mean? And they didn't care to announce these. It's because they didn't care about this match at all. As if we didn't know already. This just confirmed it twofold. And this match was bad, man. I'm sorry. Just a bit of a waste for Bobby Lashley. Karrion Kross, no matter how hard you try with him, I don't think he's gonna be able to come back. Forget about him appearing or debuting in a horrible fashion in the first place. I don't think he just has it, man. I don't think he just has it. And Montez Ford. Montez Ford has the same problem with Seth Rollins, where he's way too goofy. Has the same problem with Jimmy Uso, where he's way too goofy when it's supposed to be serious. At a point, it becomes repulsive to me. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like Seth Rollins too much. Take some stuff seriously. It's okay to go crazy. Obviously, you have adrenaline. It's inside of the ring. But come on, man. Just, Jesus, carry yourself like a main eventer. You know what I mean? That's what Montez Ford is failing to do, or Angelo Dawkins, whichever. Montez Ford, I think, yes, the frog splash guy. Whatever, I don't even want to spend more energy talking about this match. Freaking 2-3 out of 10 maybe. It was bad. Then we actually had a pretty decent match with the crowd reacting to LA Knight pretty nicely, chanting along. We had too much of a Slim Jim going on, though, in the very beginning, especially him coming out with the car, the ads, giving the car keys to someone. It was a bit too much advertisement there. But once the match got going, I gotta say, I've been on record saying the last time AJ Styles had a good match, actual good match in the WWE, was in 2017, right? When he was wrestling with John Cena, or when he was the WWE champion and stuff like that. And now I take that back. Finally, AJ Styles has had a good match here. This was pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. And when we have other matches to talk about that they're 10 times better, this is kind of in the background. But this by itself was, easily over 5 out of 10, So did his job and did even more. I thought this was very entertaining. Good way for LA Knight to, go over, making sure we don't forget him. And AJ Styles reminded us that, man, no matter how old he is, by the way, he's 46, if I remember correctly, he can still go. He can still easily go. Not only can he go, but he looks, pardon, the obvious word here, but phenomenal, absolutely insane. I want whatever he's on, I think. I don't know. But yeah, this was nice. This brought the, feeling back. This brought the excitement back. This was a pretty decent match to keep the show going. And then we had the triple threat, which I actually enjoyed with Logan Paul. I love his attire. I love the colors of his attire. The fact that he came out with the Prime bottle. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens coming to the ring together. That was actually amazing. I made a joke to my friends, like, I hope Kevin Owens is there for the main event too, so we can go ahead and get Roman into the ring quickly so we don't have to wait 2 hours. But yeah, if Kevin wasn't here, we would have seen Randy Orton walk for 20 minutes to the ring. So kudos, man. I really appreciate the fact that you saved us some time and yeah, got Randy Orton in there. And this was just a whole lot of shenanigans. One criticism I have is the fact that Kevin Owens kicked out of the RKO. I think that could have been handled better. Like maybe give more time, maybe make it more easy to digest. It was kind of like it happened in a flash and it made the RKO seem like a normal move. Like I have no problem with it being kicked out of, because it barely ever gets kicked out of, right? So it's very protected anyways. Just don't keep doing it the next week and the next week and we're gonna be okay. And the fact here is that when, the RKO was kicked out of, Randy used that to tell a story and say, oh, the RKO isn't enough today, so we'll go extra special and I'll use the punt. You know what I mean? So that was good. That was good. Like I said, just the execution of it for the kick out of the RKO could have been better. But then we had the brass knucks again. Finally, the brass knucks got used against Logan Paul. Whole bunch of shenanigans. I was expecting KSI one more time. Seeing Isho Speed was completely out of the left field. Triple H, man, he is one of those guys to say, how do you do, fellow kids, I guess. Like the fact that they got Isho Speed in there. I'm not a big fan of his, but obviously it's Isho Speed. I've seen his stuff. You've seen his stuff. In fact, we've seen too much of his stuff, if you know what I mean. I show meat out there, man. But this was amazing. The fact that he barked to Randy, he pushed Randy, and then Randy just Sparta kicked him, man. And then the RKO, I don't think he moved until the match was completely over, you know what I mean? And Logan retained. I think that was the right choice. I think that was the obvious way the WWE was going to go anyways. And Kevin Owens got pinned, unfortunately, but WWE did everything in their power to not make Kevin Owens seem like second fiddle. They gave him a lot of offensive moves. He hit his, power bomb, stunner. He certainly put up a fight and didn't look like a complete jobber out there, even though he was taking the pin. So, good booking in this as well. And I really enjoyed this match. But again, I was feeling this, and not my feelings, but my friends were complaining a little bit about this as well. All these matches are great, but nothing feels like this, once in a lifetime event that you only get to experience in, each WrestleMania. That special thing. We were looking for it, and oh my God, we made us wait. Triple H loves to say this sentence. Good things come to those who wait. And man, they made us wait here, but when the time arrived, it really arrived, because we were not at the main event, but this felt like this could have been the main event. No, it could have been the main event for night one even. Like, this was good. This was way better than I ever expected. Bayley coming out with a new theme. The Egyptian look, I always dig the Egyptian aesthetic anyways. She had people carrying him, and her new theme song is, from what I've heard, just a little of it, is pretty good. By the way, for AJ Styles' theme song, I thought that was super generic, but again, I have to hear the full version to make final judgment on that. But Bayley sounded like she had a lot better theme song. A new one, like I said. I dug our new look, the attire for WrestleMania, the title and everything. The whole presentation of Bayley was pretty darn decent. I actually find out that I don't like her entrance. It's like, it doesn't work with an American crowd, or any crowd maybe. Like, flailing around too much. When she gets into the ring and does ropes things, that looks more better. But yeah, it looks weird when she's just doing all this, like maybe toned down, or I'm not sure. But regardless, it doesn't matter what happens to Iyo Sky for now, because she's gonna have to take a backseat to Bayley. But we won't forget what she did here. Look, Bayley, every time Bayley's in the ring or on a promo, whatever, she's a hit. She hits each and every single time. Iyo Sky, we're not gonna talk about her promo, but in ring work, she sometimes hit, sometimes she doesn't. As a matter of fact, she has like matches with Charlotte that were one of the worst matches that I've seen on SmackDown, right? So Iyo Sky is always a mixed bag, but this was one of the nights where she just turned it up, man. And facing with Bayley, ending this 2-3-year-old story, the damage control with Bayley obviously meant a ton for her. It was a WrestleMania match right before the main event, and she stepped up to the plate with Bayley here and just put together an amazing match. I mean, one of my favorite matches of all time when it comes to the women is Sasha Banks versus Bayley, NXT, TakeOver Brooklyn 1 and 2. Those are are just incredible. And here's another Bayley match, and this is going right at the top of my list. I think this was up there with Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, maybe better than Rhea Ripley and Charlotte. This was amazing, everything it needed to be and more. This was the women's match of the year so far, and probably is going to be the women's match of the year. Not only that, it was the best women's match at WrestleMania, and Bayley just shows why she's deserved to be the actual number one. Not even Charlotte, but Bayley. She just has, I think, more passion than Charlotte does. And I always thought she was a better wrestler than Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch anyways, like miles better. And this is just a beautiful chance for her to show the entire world what I've been preaching, man. Bayley is my favorite women's wrestler of all time. And I'm so glad. I was just happy. I was just happy watching this match. It was good. It was good. It was just, especially by the end of it, awesome. Oh my God. Like, I can't even speak right now. And it's gonna be even more difficult to speak for this final match because we're talking about the main event of main events. We're talking about Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed World Universe Championship. And this was the second time and perhaps the last time for Cody to finish the story. This was it. Everything came down to this. And I think most of us would have booked it like this, right? Every single member of the bloodline comes out and they get taken up by another Cody's friend one by one. That's it. Like, you see every single castle falling, every single line of defense just falling for Roman Reigns one by one by one. And you see him realize that too. It's like, oh crap. And then you have this Shield moment with Seth Rollins. That was like the only thing that didn't sit right with me, because he came in there, we barely saw him, and then he gets Superman punch. He gets hit with a chair. You know what I mean? But that was enough of a distraction. Seth Rollins was not the Shield tonight. He was the meat shield to Cody Rhodes. And, Roman was busy and he had the chair, right? He could have hit Cody or Seth. If he hit Cody, he probably could have hit a spear and ended the match. But he said, you know what? I'm going to take my revenge. You stabbed me in my back all those years ago when we're in the Shield. I'm going to do that I'm going to do the same thing to you, man. I'm going to do the same thing. Bam. You know what I mean? Seth was out of there, but it was too late because Cody recovered. And the rest is literally history. We saw history happen. 2.5 years of a championship go down in history as one of the greatest. Perhaps the greatest, because Hulk Hogan didn't wrestle as much as Roman Reigns did, I'm sure. Bruno Sammartino, obviously. And then who did we have after those two? We got Roman Reigns. Best championship reign of the modern era, bar none. I mean, so many moments. From Sami Zayn to even the beginning matches with Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso. So many cool things happening here. Did it get stale for a while? Absolutely. You bet your bottom dollar it did. But the way it was finished, what else can you do? What else can you do? But give kudos to The Rock as well for making this happen, for being, understanding enough. He knows, man. This just shows he knows what the wrestling business is all about. This just shows he loves the business. And again, he just understands it because he let this happen. And just gave us so many good moments. This match, it just woke me up, especially by the end when everybody was just showing up. I didn't even know what to think at that point. You know what I mean? The fact that my beard was on the line too, it didn't help me calm down. But nothing but praises for this match. I would give it 5 stars or 10 out of 10. This was a 10 out of 10. This was a 10 out of 10. The only detail is, again, justice for Seth. We got to talk about it because he got so beat up. Cody won. We got the celebration. We got Triple H come out there, even though he didn't want to. I think it's going to slowly start to morph into a bit of a Miss McMahon. Hopefully not the bad aspects of him, like horribly bad aspects of him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H enforced the rule 5 years, or not even 5, a couple of years later, 2 years later, saying in the Hall of Fame, you cannot thank Paul Triple H Levesque. You know what I mean? I think that's very likely because he was really reluctant to even come out there and celebrate with Cody. But we got to see Brandy. I mean, the entrances. Have I even talked about the entrances? The music for Roman Reigns, the cover, the epic cover. That's going to be on YouTube. And you and I, my friend, I know you're going to do it too. We're going to listen to that forever. That was incredible. We got an incredible entrance by Cody. I mean, this was it. Like I said, 10 out of 10. This was one of the best WrestleMania main events I've seen ever. And this is going to make us forget about all the criticisms we had about night 1, night 2, because you always remember the ending. 10 years from now, we're going to remember this. 20 years from now, we're going to remember this. This was that big of a moment. And we got something to look forward to on Raw because now we got the Cody Rhodes era. And you saw Roman. I talked about it in my last video too for night 1 review. If you want to check it out, you can go ahead and do so. At the end of this video, I'll put up a card and you can just click on it. But Roman Reigns was chiseled. For the first time ever, maybe, in his WWE career, he was he had very obvious 6-packs. And one theory about the fact that he has, you know, such a nice looking body, or he's, you know, in a great shape, better than he ever was that he was going to go to Hollywood. I mean, the man himself said, I'm the first guy in the WWE or something like that to not go to Hollywood. Hollywood called me. That's what he said, right? And if you're going to Hollywood, obviously you got to look like $1 million, especially if you don't have a career. You know, the only thing he did was Hobbs and Shaw. If you want $1 million career, if you want to make it in Hollywood, obviously you got to look good. And I think that's why Roman Reigns has that type of body. And the fact is, like, these 2.5 years, Roman Reigns did everything that he has done. Sure, he had a lot of time to take a break, but still, at this level, doing this many good things while he's battling leukemia at the same time, Jesus, some people are insane. You might hate him, right? You might think he's overrated. You might think he's untalented. You can take all of those, but I don't think you're able to, or you should be allowed to think that he has no work ethic, because he has it in spades. He has worked hard as he could have possibly done to make this reign, you know, as the best it can be. And we're going to remember it forever, man. We're going to remember it forever. I wish for so long, ever since 2015, that Roman Reigns has talent. He can sell. He can wrestle in the ring. Promo, he has to work on it, but he can be something. You're just booking him wrong. You're just trying to shove him down our throats. That's not gonna work. Just turn him heel. That's what we said for years and years and years and years and years. And when 2020 came around and we got the heel turn for Roman, we thought that was amazing. But we had no idea what would lead to this. This was absolutely perfect. Man, just shout out to Roman. Huge respect. Huge respect. I just want to pay my tributes to the tribal chief. The next time he comes back, which I think is gonna be a while later, he's the biggest babyface on planet Earth. It's gonna happen. I wonder what's gonna happen with The Rock now. Will we see that Rock and Roman Reigns match? Because there was nothing alluding to that in this match either. I thought The Rock was gonna whip Roman Reigns at the very end there with the camera angle, but no. I think they're gonna play this slow and do it when it's appropriate. And we'll see Gunther, you know, lost his championship. Cody, now we'll have to deal with him and many other people. Braun Breaker is on the way. I mean, NXT Stand and Deliver was pretty decent as well. It's there's a lot to talk about. The last thing I'll say is that Cody shook everybody's hand maybe 3 times in a row at this point. He was just touring around and doing that. But Seth Rollins, in the meanwhile, he was literally dead. And at the very end, all he got was like a handshake, and it's like, thank you, buddy. The man literally died for you. He's gonna be in the hospital for 10 years after that. For you, Cody. And you didn't even give the man a hug. That was wild. I think if on this Raw or SmackDown, whenever Cody's gonna show his face first, if he comes out there and beats the crap out of Cody to a point of injury, I'll be behind Seth Rollins. But we know he can't take himself seriously. We know he can't carry himself as a champion. But thankfully, we got a better champion now in Damian Priest. I was going to say Drew McIntyre. Tonight was wild. Absolutely wild. I'm going to be talking about more wrestling shows, of course. So stay tuned to this channel. Check out Kiss the Ring. We're going to be talking about all of WrestleMania. Kenny Baum, Just Brian, 2 other awesome YouTubers. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch me babble on, man. I really appreciate you doing that. That being said, we have all watched Cody finally finish the story.